Imagine for a moment, it's March 14th, 2025, and the world hangs by an invisible thread. The winds carry whispers of war, the lands groan with catastrophe, and men's hearts beat with strange restlessness. Screens flash with news that seems darker every day, alliances cracking, storms striking, voices crying out for power. And at the center of it all, one man stands, a figure who refuses to fade, a force shaping history like few before him. Donald Trump, President of the United States, returned or still present in 2025. But today, I don't want to just talk about him as a politician. I want to take you on a quest that spans the ages, that delves into the visions of the prophets, to reveal a startling truth. What if Donald Trump is linked to a prophecy that we fulfilled in June 2025? Open your ears and your mind. In the Bible, one verse echoes like a drum in the night. Revelation 13, verse 7. And he was given authority over every tribe, tongue, and nation. These words, written by John, a prophet exiled on the island of Patmos, speak of a global power, a dominion that encompasses the entire world. And when I look at Donald Trump, this man who, in 2025, seems to hold America and beyond in the palm of his hand, I can't help but wonder, is this him? Will June 2025, 3 months from now, be the moment this prophecy comes alive? According to the prophet John, a figure would emerge with unprecedented authority. This is what the prophet prophesied, a time when one power would unite nations under one voice. And today, I'm going to show you why Donald Trump could be at the heart of this vision and why June 2025 could change everything we know. Let's take a closer look at this man. Donald Trump, in March 2025, is a living storm. Perhaps he has returned to the White House after a tumultuous election, or perhaps he rules from the shadows, his influence intact. His words fill stadiums, his tweets, or their modern equivalents, shake up the networks. His decisions on war or the economy dictate the rhythm of the world. Right now, let's say a crisis erupts, a rising tension with China, a burning South American border, or a faltering alliance with Europe. Trump is there at the center, his voice thundering like a clarion call, his choices redrawing the maps. But he is not just an ordinary man. His power is different. He doesn't just rule America, he influences entire nations. In 2025, the United States remains a superpower, and Trump at its helm appears to be extending his reach across the oceans. According to the prophet Daniel, in Daniel 11, verse 36, the king will do whatever he wants. He will exalt himself and magnify himself above every god. This is what the prophet prophesied, an arrogant, powerful leader who defies norms. And when I see Trump, his speeches boasting about his successes, his boundary-pushing style, I wonder, is this an echo of that vision? In June 2025, imagine he signs a major treaty, an agreement uniting countries under the American umbrella, power over every tribe, tongue, and nation as John saw it. And look at the facts. In March 2025, let's say a world summit is planned for June, a meeting in Washington where Trump could announce a historic alliance. The newspapers are already reporting it. Pundits are speculating. This is a fabrication. It's a possibility that seems real, giving weight to this prophecy. His influence is growing, and June could be the moment it explodes. Let's dive into the scriptures. Revelation 13, verse 7 is not alone. Let's go back to verse 5. He was given a mouth speaking great things. Trump and his rhetoric. Isn't that a match? According to the prophet John, this figure would speak boldly, defying all. This is what the prophet prophesied, a time when one voice would dominate, when words would become a weapon. What if, in June 2025, Trump gave a speech that changed the world, a speech proclaiming America as a leader of the nations, a speech that unites or divides on a scale never before seen? And then there's Daniel 12, verse 1. At that time, Michael will stand up, the great prince who stands for your people, and there will be a time of trouble. According to prophet Daniel, a period of chaos would precede great change. This is what the prophet prophesied, an unprecedented crisis, followed by deliverance or judgment. What if by June 2025, a crisis erupts, a war, a natural disaster like a California earthquake, or an economic collapse, and Trump seizes the opportunity to consolidate his power? Imagine, an earthquake strikes in May, markets collapse, and in June, Trump declares a new era for America and the world. Sounds real, right? Seismologists are already talking about unusual activity in 2025. This isn't fiction. It's a real possibility. In Matthew 24, verse 6, you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. In March, tensions may be rising with Russia or some other giant. By June, it could become open war, and Trump could emerge as the leader who solves everything. These prophecies are converging on a moment, and June 2025 could be that moment. So, what might June 2025 look like? Let's paint the picture. Let's say that in April, a war breaks out, perhaps in Asia, perhaps in the Middle East. Nations panic, economies plummet. In May, disaster strikes, an earthquake or a solar storm that knocks out the grid. Chaos reigns. And then, in June, Donald Trump arrives. Perhaps he convenes an emergency summit in Washington, D.C. on June 15, 2025. The world's cameras are on him. He speaks. America will lead the world out of this crisis. And then he signs a pact, an agreement with Europe, Asia, maybe even rivals like China, power over every tribe, tongue, and nation. Or maybe it's something else, a technology. In 2025, AI explodes. What if in June, Trump unveils an alliance with a tech company, say SpaceX or some new power, to launch a global control network? For security, he'll say. But Revelation 13 verse 7 resonates. A given power, total domination. According to the prophet John, this moment would come with signs, and those signs could be there. What if it were more spiritual? Perhaps in June, a wave of religious revivals erupt in America under Trump's influence. He could present himself as a defender of the faith. Matthew 24, verse 14 speaks of a message preached to the whole world. What if June 2025 were that turning point, just before a great upheaval? These scenarios seem true. They are based on what we saw in March, on real trends, on possibilities that make us shudder. So what do we do? If June 2025 is the moment when this prophecy about Donald Trump is fulfilled, how do we prepare? The Bible guides us. Matthew 24, verse 42, therefore keep watch, for you do not know on what hour your Lord does come. According to the prophet Jesus, we must stay awake. This is what the prophet prophesied, a time when the signs would be clear, but vigilance would be our strength. In March, we see the first signs, wars, crises, Trump at the top. By June, everything could accelerate. And if that happens, if Trump becomes a figure of Revelation 13, verse 7, we must ask questions. Where does his power come from? What does it mean for us? Is this the end or a stage? I don't claim to have all the answers, but I believe June 2025 could be a pivotal moment, a moment when history and prophecy collide. So I invite you to watch, to pray, to read Revelation 13, Daniel 12, Matthew 24, and ask me, what do you see coming? We are 3 months away from June. Between now and then, the signs could intensify, a war breaking out, a crisis reaching its peak, a man dominating. And if Donald Trump is at the heart of this prophecy, we must be ready. Share this video. Talk about it. Leave your thoughts. Because if June 2025 is the moment everything changes, we must be together to understand it. So, tell me, do you believe this prophecy will be fulfilled in June? Are you ready for what Donald Trump might bring?